But we're here today fulfilling our mission to keep the public informed. Today's edition of Power Talk will discuss one of the company's most recent projects that is ongoing. And I have in studio with me two of the gentlemen who are very instrumental in this project. I will allow them to introduce themselves and then I'll tell you what about the project after. So who's going to go first?
Morning, Patrice. Morning, listeners. I am Colin Brown, Control and Operation Manager at SKELEC.
Hey, morning guys. My name is Nubian Greer, owner of New Generation Engineering.
All right, folks. So this morning I have both Nubian and Colin in studio with me because we are going to be discussing a project that is taking place in the St. Peter's area. I know that persons who live in that area or even persons who visit that area might recognize that there is some work taking place there, and that is not any other infrastructural work, but that is actually work that is being done by SKELEC, and it's actually very exciting news. I feel proud to share with you about our Bayford's on the ground project. So Nubian, I want you to explain to the public. Nubian laughing. Nubian, what's the joke? Just tell the public what the Bayford's on the ground project is and how your company has been facilitating this.
Well, morning again. Essentially, the Bayford's Underground project is one that would provide a bit more reliability to the electrical infrastructure. As it stands now, all of the electrical supply lines are overhead and susceptible to accidents, hurricanes, strong winds, rain, whatever. And so the objective of this project is to take them underground where they will be more safe, less hazardous, and provide a bit more reliability, as I mentioned earlier. You know, as most of the residents in the St. Peter's area could testify, during hurricane season or if there's strong winds, or just recently there was a car accident a couple of weeks ago, a month ago or so, and power went out. In the installation of these cables underground to supply power at the St. Peter's area, it would eliminate 90% of your outages. There might be scheduled outages, but outages due to fallen lines or poles falling down in the St. Peter's area would 100% be eliminated.
So just so that the public understands, because they might say to themselves, well, I'm still seeing poles and I'm still seeing cables or wires. Explain to them what exactly will be underground and why they will still be seeing poles and cables.
What would be underground is what might be known as the backbone of the electrical grid. That's the 11,000 volt system that goes from the AVEC substation. That's where the AVEC school is. There's a substation right there that goes right up to the Bayford's. I believe there was a milk farm up there one time, right? So it goes right up into the mountains up there. And so we are attempting to take down that backbone from overhead and put it underground. So it will, in the end, what would happen is that you would still see poles because there's still need for street lighting and the low voltage distribution system, but that main line, we will take it underground to provide that level of reliability that the client needs.
And there might also be other utility companies that will still be utilizing the poles.
Like the telephone company, the cable company, they would still be using the poles. And SKELEC would also be using the poles to distribute from the pole to the houses.
So if there's still the low voltage system that is on the poles, if there is an accident, will there still be an outage? Depending on which pole?
It wouldn't take down the whole system. Eventually, it will be sectionalized using switchgear systems where if there's, let's say for instance, in Douglas Estate, if a vehicle hit a pole in Douglas Estate, then and it causes an outage, then just Douglas Estate would be out of power eventually, and it will be sectionalized using switchgears and breaker systems.
So, Colin, I know that you've been here and you've allowed Nubian to explain everything to us from his end. One of the things I want you to explain to the public is the importance of why SKELEC felt it was important to, one, institute this underground feeder and why we chose the Bayfords feeder in particular.
So with regards to the importance of putting our infrastructure underground, SKELEC has a series of capital projects which the intent is to improve our reliability. With regards to distribution system, one of the major means of improving reliability is to put the distribution network underground. Just for a bit of context, when you consider the entirety of our distribution system, most of the rest of our distribution system has a significant part of it underground. Frigate Bay, Bastia, east and west, north of the island, the Kean and the Sandy Point feeders have the backbones underground already. So why Bayfords feeder? It's the last major feeder that has no portion of the distribution underground. Bayfords feeder has seen significant growth in the last 5 years.
Explain what you mean by growth.
Growth in load and demand. So
so a lot of persons are moving, especially in that area they're constructing, so there's an increase in demand.
There's an increase in demand. A number of new residential developments came on stream and are increasing in load. So to give the extent of the area served by Bayfords feeder, White House, Gardens, St. Peter's, right up under the Canada mountains in the east, and it extends as far as times as Doers and Olives and East West Farm.
So we're talking about Shadwell, Pine Gardens, New Road, all of the very large area.
OG, Cedar Grove, Gillard's Meadows, Buckley's Park, Olives, right over onto basically up to Beacon Heights.
So basically above the bypass.
Above the bypass.
Okay.
Above the bypass. So it's an area where, as Nubian said, we are vulnerable. We're vulnerable to storms. We're vulnerable to traffic accidents. And the company felt it was time to bring the Bayfords feeder up to par with the rest of the network.
So those persons who live on that feeder, I know sometimes you have some challenges. You have challenges with power, and we just want you to know that we are aware of that, and that is why we are undergoing this particular project to increase our reliability, to ensure that we have fewer outages on that particular feeder. Now, Nubian, I want you to walk us through how the project has been going so far. What is it you want the community to be mindful of as you're embarking on this project, and give us a bit of a timeline?
The project is going good enough at this point in time. We haven't had any major difficulties. We haven't had any major difficulties, and let's leave it at that. We have obstructed the traffic a lot of times, but what we are trying to do is move as fast as physically possible to get out of those areas. What we are doing is we have to excavate the roads or the pathway about 5 feet down to clear that 11,000 volt line from any other infrastructure as it pertains to water, telecommunication, cable TV. So it's a lot of excavation that we are doing, and then after there's the road repair. So at this point in time we're going through the excavation phase, and well, I'm happy to say we partnered up with SKN Metals, Mr. Halstead Isles, who has the subcontract for all the civil work.
Okay.
And so he has already started some of the road repair from the back end, coming from Cedar Grove, coming back down. And so we're trying to do both at the same time. So we are doing excavation, and at the same time we are still repairing the roads that we opened up. So what we did, we started in the middle area. We started in Embassy Shores, and then we moved up to Bayfords, and now we are coming down close to the airport on the main road. And road repair work has already started up in Cedar Grove and certain parts of the main road coming down, like where the the daycare center is, and the clinic.
The health center.
The health
Okay.
center, correct. And so it's going okay. We're trying to move as fast as possible because we know that there is disruption to the traffic flow, and sometimes because it's excavation and the place is extremely dry, so there is a bit of dust. But if you take all things into consideration, the upgrade of the Barefoot speeder, bringing more reliability to electrical supply, we're not going to be there long. Timelines, I'm looking probably with the disruption of traffic, by the end of this month, we should be out of all of those smaller streets that the traffic is being impaired at this point in time. And the completion of the project, well, I guess Colin might have to give you a bit more insight on that because we're waiting on some materials for that SKELEC would be procuring. So, all in all, it's going good at this point in time, and we just can't wait to finish. And there is the second phase of the project that would bring us over the mountainside, starting back at Cedar Grove, coming back over, what the mountain called? Milliken, right?
Okay.
And coming back over into Shadwell to double, well, not really, you wouldn't call it double, but you would provide a bit more assurance that even if one leg of the surface goes down, then you just interconnect from the second, like creating a ring. So when you interconnect from the second side, then you would almost guarantee power on the Barefoot feeder always.
So outside of the excavation work that is being done on the main road, what else can the residents of that area and persons who traverse in that area expect to see happening in terms of the work being done as a part of the project?
Well, outside excavation and the installation of the cables, there is the road repair work, and outside of that, well, we also contacted the cable company who wanted to put in some cables at the same time, well, some ducting at the same time. So they would see the cable company installing ducting, and we're doing our excavation and cable installation.
And there's also some construction work as well that was being done.
Yes, the construction of the substations that would be housing all the switchgear systems, and the plinths that would also, we'd be also installing the switchgears on the plinths. There is 2 plinths, one by the new health center and the other by the playing field in Lower Monkey Hill. And there's a substation at Embassy Shores by the water pump system, and there is another substation up in Cedar Grove by the other catchment center up there. So outside of that, it's cable company doing installation of ducts in the same trenching that we opened.
Okay, so based on what Mr. Greer just mentioned, we just want to let the public know that hopefully by the end of the month, all of the excavation work, that sort of disruption to the traffic should be completed.
Yes.
Should be completed. We want to apologize if there was any excessive dust, if you had to be inconvenienced to go through a road that you might not have been familiar with. But we are embarking upon this project so that we can improve our reliability, and especially on the Barefoot speeder. Colin, is there anything else that you'd like to add as it relates to this project?
This project in particular, I think it's been long overdue. Reiterate what you said, we've heard the appeals for improved service on the Barefoot feeder, but it is also only one component of many efforts by SKELEC to bring resilience to our supply. So resilience both to weather events, storms and hurricanes, and also climate impacts. So we have the Lecantre Solar Farm project that's coming on stream from the generation side, from the distribution side, as well as the Barefoot project. We also have a project coming on stream to put further portions of the Cairn and Sandy Point underground as well. So the thrust for resilience and reliability and investment in the grid is consistent, and we beg the patience and appreciate the patience of our customers as we work to make these plans and investments real.
And as the public is also aware, hurricane season begins in the next 2 weeks. That's the beginning of June. We're going to be back on air at that point in time to discuss the preparation that the company undergoes and the preparation that we want to ensure that our customers as well engage in, and what expectations they can have, because a lot of times our customers have some very, very unrealistic expectations of the company. And we at SKELEC, we have been preaching, and especially this morning, we have been speaking about reliability and resilience. Reliability means that we want to ensure that we can keep you powered for as long as is reasonably possible without many outages or any outages at all. And resilience in terms of ensuring that our infrastructure of the electrical grid as well is able to withstand certain challenges, especially as it relates to storms, hurricanes, because it's exterior. So when you hear us preaching reliability and what's the other one? Resilience, it's because we know that our customers have very high expectations, as you should of your utility company, to keep you powered. We know that is what you expect from us. And you only love us when your power is on, and when your power is off, you don't love us, even if it's your fault when the power isn't on. And when I say your fault, even if it's not a fault of the company, right? And we want you to love us all the time. I know this weekend we had some outages down on the Sandy Point feeder call, and I want you to talk to the public about that, because I don't want that the persons who live on that feeder at all to think that they're being disadvantaged in any way. Let's talk about the outages that we had on the Sandy Point feeder this weekend.
Well, firstly, I'll reiterate your apology. We had challenges on the Sandy Point feeder over the weekend, 2 outages, I believe, one on Saturday, an extensive one on Saturday, which was due to bushfires. Actually, I may have misspoken. We had one due to bushfires on Monday morning, and we had one on Saturday due to a vehicle accident.
Vehicle accident, yes.
So, as we have in our past programs, on many occasions, we appeal to all members of the public to practice care and caution with the distribution network. The risk to their lives and the outages, the cost of the outages to the company and the inconvenience to the customers is significant. As I mentioned previously, there is another project that is going to bring some redundancy to those feeders, the Sandy Point and Cairn feeder. As Nubian said, the principle now for building out our feeders is that there's an alternate supply. There's an alternate circuit or conductor. So when there's a vehicle accident, when there's a fire that burns down poles, we can isolate that area and supply everyone else with power while we do the repair. As opposed to, if there's not an alternate route, we have to wait to complete the repair to restore power. So again, to our customers on Sandy Point feeder, efforts are being made to bring a more reliable supply to you.
Yes, and we just want you to know that the 2 outages on the weekend, on Monday, one was by a bushfire and one was from a vehicle accident. And rest assured that our teams do put in significant, extensive work, hours of work, to ensure that we get our customers to have power once more. All right, we've been talking for quite a bit this morning, and we usually dedicate the last few minutes of the program to hear from our customers. So I'm going to open the line now. If there is any listener who is interested in calling, if you have any questions or comments that you would like to share, please feel free to do so now before we wrap up the program. Jiki, do we have any callers?
Not at the moment.
Okay, I know we did have one earlier, so I'm hoping that that person
Hold on, we do now.
Okay. You're going to put it on the speaker?
Yeah. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing okay.
To Miss Harris and the 2 other gentlemen in the studio with you. I just want to take this opportunity to compliment Kelly, especially the staff that is at the front door. The man who is there with the temperature guns and instructing people in line where they should be according to service at their time, and the hand sanitizer. I haven't seen this anywhere else in St. Kitts at all. And I must compliment SKELEC for the training that does. Every institution does. And there must be a period of orientation for staff to go through training about what is expected of them on their job as an employee. That man comes at the door. He saw 2 lines, and based on the age group, he could distinguish. This line said to us, please, this line is for senior citizens. The other line is for anyone under 60, etc. And while he's at the door, he observed what's taking place in there on the floor. He would come to whoever is out of line shouldn't be anywhere else other than on that spot, standing up anywhere in there, particularly of their choice. And when I came out of in there last week, I said to him, sir, I admire you for your observation professionally of in which way you're ordering people to do what they should do according to the protocol. I haven't seen it nowhere else in St. Kitts. Nowhere. I've been to some places where the sanitizer dispenser is empty, even employees walking through the door without sanitizing, and a few other things. But of course, I'm not complaining. I'm hoping that I don't normally blame people for the mistakes, but I just hope that they correct them. And a lot of that, what I'm speaking about, many places in St. Kitts are not doing what is properly told to do based on the protocols, and they need to correct them because they have time to correct them. So SKELEC, I must say, congratulations. The other thing is, I called here about a meter that's supposed to be reinforced on a wall of property, and they transformed it to someone else. They had that person who's supposed to listen to my report again, informed, so that when they come on the line, they already know what they are supposed to hear and explain to me carefully. Young lady, you all are doing a good job, and I just hope they continue to do it. Let it be a standard that I believe other places should take a page of your book and do likewise. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Carlo. We thank you for the commendations. It just goes to show that SKELEC is very customer friendly. We always ensure that we try to treat our customers the best way possible, the way that a leading utility should. We have another caller, GQ. Good morning, Carlo.
Good morning to the panel and to GQ for hosting the SKELEC workers. Calling concerning a problem that we had in a house in Sandy Point where we had electrical flashing from the wires, right? And I called because someone called me and told me that it happened on the outside of the house, but they didn't know what was going on. So I actually get a number to call SKELEC, the workers who are in the road and so on. They respond very quickly. They tell me they was in Lamberts. And they came, they do a temporary adjustment and told me to come in the office and report it. I actually went to the office really, and then when they came to the house, they told me that they need additional work to do on the house, like a line to run to change the wires because the house is house that actually built a long time ago. And the wires, they say, wasn't appropriate. They was too small, and they actually were speeding. When you touch them and so, you actually get shocked and so. They came afterward after I went to the office and they came and do it. They came again to tell me that they won't come, which is tomorrow. They say they'll come to actually change the wire from the house to the post. So I appreciate it a whole lot for the quick response from SKELEC, and applaud you and ask you to continue your good works with people around the island.
That is direct to Mr. Colin Brown's team. So Colin, please relay the commendations to your team.
Thank you very much, Carlo.
All right, DQ. Good morning, Carlo.
Yes, good morning. Go ahead, you're live.
Hello, good morning. Morning, GQ. Hello?
Yes, morning. They're listening. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Thanks for having my workers there. I too, as a past worker there, a SKELEC cleaner, this Lulu, my Prime Minister.
She's listening. She's listening. She's listening.
My Prime Minister, good morning to you, lady. And to the other worker there, I don't know who he is there, but I want to say congratulations to you all. You are my favorite workers. I still love you all, and I know you all love me. Sometimes many people meet me on the street, they give me the hug and everything. I'm still a part of them. I Keisha, Ronald, Kevin, I Dita, Mr. Fritz, I still everybody over there who I used to work with. I love you all still. You all keep up the good work. And Prime Minister, continue to do your good work. You know, you're part of my family, Marcy, and everybody. And I love you all. Keep up the good work. And I hope Pitu had a good birthday, hard-working man, and to all the drivers, want to wish you all the best on the road and be safety. I always pray for you all, and I always big up you all. Continue the good work that you're doing, and all of you have a blessed day. Bye, GQ, bye.
Thank you, Lula. Thank you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I just have an observation and comment. But firstly, I just want to commend SKELEC for the good work that they have been doing. In relation to the word work votes in St. Peter's, I think that you all should have given notice to the general public about the digging up of the road and what's not. Because a lot of persons, and it came out earlier, who are not accustomed to the back way in St. Peter's, they were lost and going round and round. And then another thing is, when the work started first, there's a young lady who usually cooks at the Douglas mango tree area. I mean, she wasn't even aware that something was going to happen. So I suggest in future, if you know that you are going to be digging up an area, is that you give notice to the general public. That's my comment. Thank you.
All right, let's take another caller and we'll respond to everything at the end.
Good morning, you're live.
Mr. JQ, good morning. The King.
Yes, man, good morning, good morning. Good morning to you. You're listening.
I only call you because I don't want to call you. I've been speaking about the lamppost across Fort Thomas Road. It is not down in the earth. It's just on top of the pavement. And sooner or later, you're going to have a hazard pass here, and please to go and fix it. I send you the picture already, and you all just keep ignoring me when I call you to talk about certain things. The lamppost needs to be fixed right in front of shackles. You all have a good morning.
All right, thank you, caller. Let's take one last caller, GQ.
No call there at the moment.
All right, we want to thank all of the callers all of the listeners who called in and provided contributions to this morning's program. Thankfully, most of the comments were in favor of SKELEC and giving us commendations. We want to thank you for always being ready and willing to share whatever is happening. We really want the community to be a part of the policing of the work that SKELEC does. If you don't call us and let us know that something is happening, we won't be able to know. We won't be able to come out and make whatever changes and repairs that we need to do. So please don't ever feel that you're being a burden to us. We want you to call in and let us know. And remember that the lines to call are 465-2000. That's our automated system. If you don't care for the automated system, we have our emergency hotline, 465-2013 and 600. When you call those numbers, 600 from a mobile phone, you'll directly get one of our operators and we'll dispatch a team to come and look at whatever complaint you're calling to make. So please don't get weary in calling to make these complaints. I always let you know that at SKELEC it's so much work to be done. It's a dynamic company. We don't always have the resources that we need to get everything done, but we really try our best to get it done. So to the caller that constantly calls in about the lampposts in front of Shaka Zone at Fort Thomas, I'm going to ensure that I speak to the relevant managers and teams again so that we can get that fixed, because I know that you have called and reported that several times. I want to issue an apology on behalf of that because I know that our company is very customer forward. This morning we had a wonderful radio program, and before I share my parting words, I'm going to allow the other gentlemen in the room to provide their wrap-up for this morning.
Thank you, Patrice. To all our customers and the general public, thank you for your support and patience as we work to improve service and respond to your needs.
Thank you, Colin.
Well, I would like to thank the general public for their patience. As the lady rightly said, more notice should have been given to the customers and the users of the road up in St. Peter's, and even that lady had conversations with her under the mango tree and apologized to her because the day when we was digging, she actually came out and we had to do a little gymnastics so that she could sell food at the same time while we were doing our excavation. So we took that into consideration, but nevertheless, it's a work in progress, and next time around we would be more mindful. Now, I think I should use this opportunity to thank SKELEC and the Ministry of Public Works and the Honorable Sean Richards for allowing myself and the subcontractor to partner up and execute this project that, as simple as you see it, it have spin-offs. We were able to employ persons who would have otherwise not been employed, and at the same time allow us to do some community service. Like, I'm a Garden Hotspurs fan, so I went and sponsored a few teams down there in the Garden Hotspurs Football Club. The subcontractor also is partnering up with Mr. Halstead Isles is partnering up with someone else to do some sponsorship up in the Newtown Football Club, and also doing some work on a children's park with the Ministry of Social Development. So it allowed us to do a few things that otherwise we would not be able to accomplish. And I just want to say thanks again to SKELEC, Jomo, and everybody else, and the Ministry of Public Works and Sean Richards.
Thank you, Nubian. Thank you, Suzella Ized, for having us here this morning. Always remember that SKELEC is the leading utility provider in the nation. We wouldn't have it any other way. And we work to ensure that we provide you with electricity reliably and responsibly. So until we meet again next month, have a wonderful morning and a wonderful rest of your day. Stay tuned to SKELEC so that you can hear all of the exciting things that we have happening. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
We know being local means supporting our own. And